Hey, this is Mad Matt from Budget Boosting. Today I'm going to introduce a new project we're going to start. This is going to be part one of my blow-through 280ZX Turbo Z. I'm converting it from Nissan Straight 6, which is what it came with, and I'm going to put a small block Ford 302 V8 engine in it with twin turbos. So that's going to be the new project part one. So I'm going to be pulling this engine and transmission out, and I'm going to find a transmission and engine mount or have to fabricate. I did find an engine mount cradle assembly. There's places out there that make 302 Fords, and they make an engine mount kit to fit the body style before this, the S30 body style of Z. This is the S130. The difference between the S130 and the S30 is this has a little bit more room in the engine compartment, so the mounts from the S30 should go in no problem, because there's very similar dimensions on width on where the engine mounts are and everything like that. So I'm going to use an engine cradle kit that I found online to adapt the 302 Ford into this 280ZX, and I'm going to use a C4 automatic transmission, since originally this car came with an automatic, and back then Nissan used C4s with a different bell housing. So I'm going to use a Ford C4 transmission with a Ford 302 V8 engine and put twin TO4Es on there, and that's going to be the next blow-through Turbo Z, because I'm kind of done working on the Nissan Straight 6s for now. I want to try something different, something that has a lot more potential for a lot more power. Although I was pretty happy with the power here, I want a lot more. So we're going to go with the small block Ford 302, since so many people on these Z cars transform to small block Chevy 350s because they're so common. I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to go small block Ford. And I'm also thinking about going 347 stroker on the 342 as well. So I'm going to have a lot of low-end torque using a 347 stroker kit to put in the 302 to get 347 cubic inches instead of 302. And then go with the twin TO4Es. And I may even run a root style supercharger on the engine and have the two turbos blowing in to the blow-through carburetor, and the blow-through carburetor mounted onto the root style supercharger that's mounted where the intake manifold is. So more to follow, but this is just part one. We're gonna get started on this car. I'm gonna start slowly getting the engine out and getting the 302 prepared, get everything prepared for the new blow-through 280ZX Turbo. And we're going to walk over and I'll show you the turbo headers, and I'll show you the engine that I got, the donor engine I got. I had some parts for my turbo diesel. When I sold my turbo diesel, I did a trade for a 302 Ford, so that gave me an idea. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a 302 Ford conversion on this 280ZX Turbo and make it a twin turbo and supercharged. So let's walk over to my bench where I got my twin turbo headers and the twin turbos that I'm going to use in this project. Here's a couple TO4E turbochargers that I scored on an eBay auction. Basically about $200 a piece. When you could spend so much more money on turbos, I thought, I've used these eBay turbos before and had quite success with them. I've gotten quite a lot of power out of them and great reliability. And I don't use blow-off valves. In my other video, I'll talk about that more. You've seen it. You've probably seen it. Anyway, here's the turbo headers. It's a T3 turbo headers. They go right to the 302 Ford V8. And they connect right to the T3 flange on these turbochargers. T3 flange, hooked to T3 flange of the turbos. These are TO4Es, basically a hybrid turbo. Uses a T3 turbine and flange, and uses a small TO4 compressor. Therefore, it's a hybrid turbo called a TO4E. Now we'll walk over to my 302 Ford engine, the one I'm using for this project. And here's the 302 engine on the stand. This is going to be the engine we're going to throw in the 280ZX Turbo. And to make a 347 stroker, we're going to have to tear this thing all the way down to just the block and the rotating assembly. I'm going to take it to a machine shop, a really good machine shop that's really good at doing the precision grinding that you have to do on the block to allow for the stroker crank to be installed in this engine. So I'm going to have them do the short block, basically the crank, the rods, the bore, and the machining on the block for the 347 stroker. Then I'm going to do the rest of the assembly, the heads and everything else. I'm going to do the rest of the long block. So I'll just have the machine shop do the lower end and have them do the short block of the 347 stroker on this V8. So I can see the potential, a little 302 V8 or a 347 V8 in a 280ZX turbo, which is very light, with a couple turbos on it here. And instead of this intake manifold and carburetor, I'll put a nice little small Wyand root supercharger on there and mount the blow-through carburetor on top of that. So I would have boost right off the line with the supercharger, and then the two turbochargers will be feeding the supercharger, and I'll have really hard high-end boost as well. So basically my concept is idle to redline, boost and power. It's been done before. There's been other people that have supercharged and turbocharged together. It's been done, and it's been done very successfully. But I'm going to do it on my fun little 280ZX lightweight car, and it's going to be a lot of fun, especially when we take it to the drag strip, which will be eventually happening. So that's part one, and this is the introduction of what I'm going to do to my 280ZX blow-through Turbo Z. It's going to be a twin-turbo supercharged blow-through Z when I'm done. And I believe it's going to have so much power every time I tickle the gas pedal, give it a little push, it's going to get mad wheel spin and be just a lot of fun to drive. Because I like a car that I have to feather and gradually push the gas pedal. I like a car that I have to control, not throw it to the floor and just kind of barely gets you going. I like something fast. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching Budget Boosting. If you like us on our YouTube page, like us on Facebook, and check out our budgetboosting.com website. Get our window stickers. They're awesome. They can make any car look just a little bit faster. And remember, knowledge is power. It's horsepower. If you can look at it right here, this coolant tank hose right here where it connects to the coolant tank, it becomes disconnected because this little clip here, I've got